Hi, Akhif, can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah, we can.
Yeah, perfect. Then let's go. First of all, very thanks that you joined the call today, Akif. As you know,
Uh-huh.
the purpose of my channel is just to help out students with real information because there are a lot of these
Mm,
consultancies and a lot of misinformation around Corona pandemic going on. So the idea is just
mm.
to educate anybody who's sitting in India and thinking about coming to Italy, giving them some perspective on how they should apply, what kind of things they should be careful about, what is the situation now. So anything related to your deep experience in Italy, if you could
Uh.
share, that will be really useful.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. Actually, that's the reason why I decided to join this call because I've seen a lot of people having a lot of misinformation, like wrong interpretations of admissions and all. So I just wanted to help out. So that's the reason why I joined the call. So
Really appreciate it.
like
If you could just
yeah,
share
yeah.
your experience, like for application, how did you apply? How did you come to know about Italy? Did you go through a consultant? Did you apply it yourself? What would you suggest to somebody who's studying in Chennai or Bangalore or Chandigarh or wherever in India and just thinking,
Okay.
okay, after bachelors, how can I go to Italy?
Mhm. Okay. So basically, uh, I got to know about. I'm studying in Politecnico di Milano, doing design engineering. So I got to know about the Polyme through different online sources. So I was looking for the top colleges for design field. Like I did my bachelor's in mechanical engineering. So I wanted to improve my skills, and I wanted to get into the design field, like product design especially. So I was looking into the top universities all over the world, and I found out like Polytechnic di Milan was like around fifth rank in the world in QS rankings and all those US news rankings and stuff. So I just started looking into, and the thing is like another notion about people is like ranking is not just not the main thing. I mean, it's just one part. People just go through just look in the ranking and just start applying for those universities. But what I would suggest is to look into the course thoroughly, like whether that's the exact course which you need. Look into the subjects is all available online in all these websites, on the university websites. So what I did was I found out the top universities from different rankings websites and stuff, and then I went to these university websites and then looked at the courses and looked at the subjects, and then I decided that Polytechnic was the thing which I need because it has the exact same courses which I was looking for, and the exposure is also the same, and the projects which they do is also like I wanted to work on commercial products, and they also we have like studios where you work with companies for designing products for commercial purposes. So I looked into all those things. I looked in the research labs. I looked in their theory classes, everything. And after that only I decided that I will come to this university. So I'll suggest everyone to do that first because I've seen a lot of people, for example, since I'm mechanical, I know mechanical background. So I've seen people just go into, just Google top universities for mechanical engineering, just start applying. But the thing is, like, once they get in the university, they'll realize that the mechanical itself has a lot of different specialization tracks, fields. It's a very broad area. So each university will have their own specific specialization. So you have to see whether that is the one which you want or not. Because I've seen a lot of people coming abroad, not just, I'm not talking about polygamy or anything, like what to say, overall, I've seen even it was my friends going to US and then regretting the decision because that is not exactly the course they want. They saw it as like industrial engineering or mechanical engineering went. So one main thing is that thing, like you look into the course and see whether that is exactly what you want, because it's a master's degree, it's not bachelor, so it's a professional degree, and this is what makes your career basically.
Yeah.
This is the starting point of a career, so it's a really important thing. So yeah,
Akif,
that's
how is
what
it
I want
different
to.
from, let's say, a gate exam which used to happen in
Hmm?
India, right? Because now what
Hmm?
you highlighted very importantly is that students should look at individual university and what kind of
Yeah,
specialization courses they are providing, and then look at
yeah,
their own interest and match that interest with the
exactly.
right. But we don't do
Yeah,
that
yeah,
in India often, right? With the master's program, we just look at, okay, let's just go to some IIT and then do a MTech
yeah,
and
yeah, exactly. That's another thing. What I saw, like what I see in everywhere, like in India, for example, especially. So in India, it's like you write one entrance exam, which is GATE for MTech. So once you write GATE, then if you first you shortlist all the IITs based on the rankings, maybe. Mostly it will be like IIT Bombay, Kharagpur, or Madras, then Delhi. So it will go like that. But even even in IITs, every IIT has special programs. Like for example, in my field, like mechanical, you can say for IIT Madras is good for the thermal research. IIT Bombay is good for the robotics based stuff. So in India, I don't think that matters much, but here it matters a lot because like I said, every university has the research lab matters a lot because masters, right? So it will have a lot of lab works, practical works, and research works. So if you are not having if you have, it depends on what you want exactly. So I was very passionate about what I want to do. So I wanted to, like I said, I wanted to design stuffs which are useful for people. So I wanted to be in that field. So I wanted to study where a university where it has all these stuffs, so all the things I need. So
yeah.
in India, I think it is a bit more generalized, especially like you have IITs and you have NITs and you have the other private universities, BITS, you have other private universities coming up. So I know it is like a common notion, but even in India, if I like for example, if I didn't have an option to go abroad, and if I was studying in India, then even in India I would have looked into those courses because it's really important. I mean, it basically shapes up your future, right? So
Yeah, yeah. How did you pick
yeah.
Italy over, let's say, Germany or France? Because Germany is quite industrialized, so is Denmark or some other countries, Netherlands. So I'm just wondering, how did you get to
Yeah, yeah.
Italy?
Actually, I applied for some other universities too. Like I applied for Esslingen University in Germany. Then I applied for some in Netherlands and even Sweden. But I actually got admit from all these except KTH University in Sweden. But the thing is like I told, like I went to after I looked at the course and stuff, and I decided like this is the one which I want. Like, I looked at my first priority was the lab and the course because it's in the education system. Like one main thing is like education system in India and abroad is entirely different. So the reason why I came here is because the education is a bit different and it's much more flexible than India. Because in India, you have compulsory courses and you just have to do that and you finish the graduation. I mean, you graduate. But here it's a bit different, and here what to say, it's all up to us what we have to do, and we have some freedom actually. To be honest, we have some freedom even for the projects. They just give us a theme,
Yeah.
and it's up to us how do you design the products. Like what you have to do. You have to do a lot of market research, user analysis, and first you find what your target customer is, and basically you make the product for the customer.
Mm-hmm.
So that I learned all these things from the course curriculum and all those things from the university website.
Yeah.
So after reading all those things, I realized this is the university which I wanted.
Yeah.
But for proper mechanical based, I'll prefer Germany over Italy because most of the companies are there. So
Yeah.
yeah.
And is the design mostly targeted at, so it's a pretty generalized design, right? It's not designed for automotive sector or any particular sector. It could be
No,
anything.
yeah, exactly. No, again, that's what. So even for that, if you go to that specialization, mine is Polytechnic di Milan. It's much more in my field, like my design engineering course here is much more into the commercial products like home appliance and all those stuffs. For example, our projects were like cooktops, stoves, gas stoves, and air conditioners,
Okay.
and even aircraft interior design, those kind of things. But
Hmm.
if you want to go for automotive design, there is a Politecnico di Torino for that. because Turin is the hub for all the automotive companies like Fiat,
Yeah.
Maserati, all those companies headquartered there actually near Turin or Modena, those places.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Somebody
so
gave
automotive
me
based, yeah,
an impression, Akif, that in Italy the industrial sector has been going down. So if you look at the GDP numbers, right, Italy is around 2 lakh crores,
yeah.
and the GDP in Germany is, let's say, 4 lakh crores, and it's growing. So the impression people usually draw is that, in Italy the industrial sector is only going down, so you should not go there for job opportunities and so on. What's your perspective on this?
I think they are right in one sense. Like the economy is going down in Italy because it's some political stuffs which I don't want to get into anyway. So the thing is like it depends on exactly like what industry you're going for. For example, if you're looking for like a production field, a product plant based or those kind of stuffs, then obviously Italy is going down because Germany is leading in that field, like industrial automation or industrial engineering, those kind of things. Because most of the companies are produced, like most of the products are produced in Germany now than in Italy. Italy is they are concentrating much more on the R&D perspective right now. So if you think about that's why the GDP is less because the export is basically less now in Italy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so it depends on it depends on that's why I told like it depends on the field you want to get into. If you want to get into for example, my field I am telling about about mechanical. Like if you want to get into even automotive field, like in automotive hardware field, then obviously I'll prefer Germany because that's where all the production is happening.
Mm-hmm.
But if I want to get into like car design, like automotive design field, I would prefer Italy.
Yeah,
That too,
Torino,
there are
you
specific
said, right?
universities. Yeah, Turin exactly. Turin exactly.
And this also,
Yeah.
it's a very important point because I keep telling everyone that, in the motivation letter, they should really write motivation, not some generic stuff.
Yeah,
Because,
exactly.
Mhm.
You're right. You're right. That's the main thing. It's not about GPA or anything. GPA matters. Like you have a cutoff, and about that for the admission, I don't think GPA matters that much. But for the scholarship, it matters obviously. But for admission, it's all about motivation letter because I've seen in my class itself there is one guy. My course is design and engineering. I've seen one guy actually one girl who came from engineering physics
Okay.
because I've seen her motivation letter and I've seen that even though she actually did her bachelor's in which in a field which has no relation to our course.
Hmm.
She still had a passion to do design products and she has done a lot of stuff in her own times, and that's what. So you have to show if you can show the reason why you are joining the university and not just like you did this project, or if you can show the reason from a bachelor's or from a childhood onwards, you can show a flow which finally ends with the passion which you want to do, which you are passionate about. Then I think that is more than enough as a motivation letter, and not just like I said, not just a general format letter or something like that.
Hmm. And how can
Yeah.
students? So there are two questions. One, because what
Yeah.
you suggested is primarily targeted for masters or PhD students, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
have you seen a trend for bachelors? Because at least in Germany, I see that a lot of students are
Yeah,
coming
actually,
now.
especially last 2 years. When I came here in 2018, I didn't see much international bachelor students. Especially in my university, they didn't have much international programs for bachelors. Now they have started English programs also. But I've seen for last 1 year or 2 years, especially this year, I've seen a lot of people coming for bachelors into Italy and even Germany. I think, because like I said, the education system is entirely different, and it took me like around one semester to get accustomed to the education system here. Because my bachelor's I did in India, so it's a lot different because. To be honest, in India, you can study if you study like some people study one day before, or people study 1 month before exams, and you can still pass. But here, if you do that, you'll never pass. You have to be up to date, and and the thing is like even in exam perspective, it's never direct question. It's all about your concepts and how you understand the concepts basically. So the good thing is like if once you graduate, you'll know everything about that subject for sure.
Yeah.
And India, I don't think that's the condition.
No, no. Plus, I think, if
Yeah.
correct me if I'm wrong, in Italy, just like Germany, you have a lot of these weekly tests and assignments and
Yeah,
practical.
yeah, exactly. It's more practical. It's not just the theory. A lot of assignments every week. Even for us, we have every semester, every subject has a project. It's all project based.
Yeah.
So because of that, it's you know what you're studying also. Like you'll be applying what you're studying. It's not just about writing theory, studying theory and writing exam. Even for bachelors, that's another thing. Like, and the thing is, like after bachelors, it'll be very easy for them to transfer from bachelors to masters if they do bachelors abroad because they're already accustomed to it.
Hmm. And how
Because I can see even my friends, like those who did bachelors here, I can see the difference because they have even for on weekends or holidays, they always work from 9 to 5. It's like office timing even for the university. I asked them why they do that. They told like they have been trained like that from their bachelors itself. It's like they told even their professors used to tell they work from 9 to 5 just like an office. So that after that you can just do whatever, you go party around, whatever, do whatever you want. But things like since they are already accustomed to the 9 to 5, even after graduating, after getting job, it will be easy for them.
Yeah.
There's nothing different for them actually.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And what is the life like, social life? Now you mentioned the 9 to 5. So what happens in Italy after 5?
Right now it is a bit difficult because like currently it is red zone. So we are not supposed to go out unless it's for emergency, like it's for food or work or study. So earlier, like 2 weeks ago, it was yellow zone. At that time, we can just roam around anywhere if you want, obviously with social distancing and mask. But now it is a bit difficult. Even the restaurants are closed. The restaurants now it's only food. Online delivery is there. Takeaway is there. There is no dining option now. So now it's a bit dull. But usually, yeah, it's after 5, like after 6 actually. After 5 to 6, you can't get in the metro because it's always full. Because everyone goes home. So after 6, yeah, the nightlife is good. It's a good environment actually. It's up to you how you want to enjoy your life. Like if you want to go party, you can go party. If you want to just roam around, go to some park and sit, relax, you can do that. There's a lot of parks, a lot of activities going on every day. There will be a lot of concerts actually. Every week there will be concerts. Some celebrities will come.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you're a football fan, you have a San Siro Stadium nearby. Yeah.
And
So,
Milan is a big
currently,
football team also, right?
yeah,
Like soccer team.
yeah. You understand. You can see Ronaldo sometimes.
Wow.
But the thing is, like now it's difficult because you can't go because of this corona. You are not allowed to go to stadiums. So.
Have you seen Ronaldo?
No. I actually had one. I booked one match actually, but they got cancelled because of this corona thing.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, because we have a lot of and another thing about this thing, like it not just Italy. I think everywhere in Europe, you have a lot of discounts for students. Like even for the travel pass, and it's especially in Italy, it's all about the income based. You have all the scholarships, even the scholarships you have income based scholarship and merit based scholarship.
Yeah.
But even for the travel pass, it's all about income based. For example, here it's called ISE. It's like some kind of a normalized income, so that everyone from all over all countries can apply for that. So it will give you a equivalent income based on your country and your family status. So based on that, usually the travel pass here is like 200 per year. So
Okay.
all the transportation metro pass kind of thing. So if you have a ISC certificate and if it's like below 16,000 euros, which for normally almost all people will have that below that one, so you'll get for 50 euros per yearly.
Okay. How are the cost of livings in general now that you mention it? Like, typical cost is rent, food, going out.
Yeah. Usually it was a bit low. Now it has gone up a bit, but not much because the thing is like now people like the landowners are not able to find people because no like it's the intake is less now. So I can't say it has increased much, but it has not decreased also. So it's around. So it depends. Like if you are going for, if you are a student and if you are going for a shared apartment near the campus, it will be like, for example, for a two-bedroom apartment, so with sharing rooms, it will be like around. It will average from near the campus. It will average from 275 to 350 per person, including the bills.
Okay.
And if you're going for a single room apartment kind of thing, it will come up to 450 to 500 per
Okay.
head.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's not that
So,
expensive, right? I mean, a lot of people have this perception that north of, or especially Milan, which
uh,
comes in north,
mm,
is much more
yeah.
expensive than, for
Actually,
example.
no. That is true. It is expensive. They're more expensive than south. That is true, actually. But the thing is, like, yeah, because it's near because it's an industrial area, right? I mean, Milan, Turin is all north. Almost all the industrial sector is in the north of Italy, and you have the universities also. A lot of universities nearby in Milan itself.
Okay.
So because of that, it will be a bit costlier than south. That is true. Because even there's one campus for Polimi in Lecco. That is like a bit north of Milan. There it's like at like 50 euros less than like average rent is 50 euros less than Milan.
Okay.
It's just like 40 minutes from Milan actually. So
Typically,
it's
how do
because it's bit
students
cheap here.
find apartments? Because there is dormitory system and then there is private rooms, right? Which students would just take a.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so for that you have a lot of websites like Housing Anywhere, then Idealista, then Immobiliare, so Subito. There are a lot of websites for the looking into that. The main thing they have to see is there are a lot of fraudulent works also going on in between. So for main thing you have to see is ask for the contract agreement, at least for the lease agreement before booking the. Uh, they'll give a signed agreement telling that we are giving this apartment to you. So one thing I'll suggest everyone is to do that first before giving them. I mean before booking the apartments, because I've seen a lot of that kind of works going on last year.
Okay.
So if you get the lease agreement, then you can book it and you will get the contract. That's fine.
Yeah.
But if
Is
you
it
don't have any legal agreement, it's a bit problematic.
problematic in what sense?
No, I mean I've seen last year a lot of people got caught up in frauds. Like they told lease this. I mean they'll give this apartment for this much amount, and they say transfer the money, and after that there's no response from them.
Okay.
So if you have, so I suggest to get a. Usually the like the normal people, they'll give a lease agreement before giving the contract, like before you pay the money, like an agreement saying that we are giving this apartment for 1 year or 2 years, whatever it is.
Yeah.
So if you have that contract, that is enough. If you, for example, if for some reason there's some issue, you can just go to the agency that's like the income of office here, contract office. You can just go there and they will sort out.
And how is it? Is it difficult to get an apartment? Because, for example,
Uh,
in some countries, right, it's very difficult for foreigners, especially Indians, to get an apartment from Italians or Europeans.
yeah, it is. I can't like it depends actually. Like, it's not that difficult, but it is difficult for some people. Uh, to be honest, and one thing is like they have too much expectation for less money. I've seen that in a lot of people. So because of that, a lot of people were having issues adjusting to some things, and but yeah, it all depends on the land owners actually. So some owners will have some issues with renting to other countries also. It depends. Like if you are able to have a contact with the owner, then it's up to them. I
Yeah.
can't say it's difficult, but it's sometimes it is difficult. So if you have some contact here, it will be much more easier. Or if you have some kind of agency which you can trust, then it's much more easier actually.
Yeah. And maybe if you know a
But
little bit of Italian language, does that help?
yeah, it helps a lot if you know Italian at least like a basic level. Because another good thing about Germany is even for the universities you need to have most of the universities you need to have at least A1 level or A2 level, right? So even for second years you need to have at least B1 level. So because of that you already know some German before coming
Yes.
here itself.
Yes.
But in Italy, the thing is like even for most of these English taught programs, you don't need any language certificate.
Mm-hmm.
So the thing is like most people try to come here and study. So but the thing is like it's a bit difficult. I mean you can study from here, but by that time, like if you, for example, like this accommodation and all. So if you know a bit of Italian, then it will be easier for you to talk to the land for the owner, to the owner and stuff. So it's better to know Italian at least at basic level before coming.
Yeah. And how difficult it is to learn? Is it very close to English or is it?
It is like similar, not that close, but there are some words which are similar to English. Uh, but for example, excellent, it's like here it's like excellent day. So it's like similar. But some words are a bit different. Here it's all about the accent and the letters where you stress more.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a bit difficult for some people. So better you have for now you can either go for classes. In India they have a lot of classes. In almost all cities you have classes anywhere.
Yeah.
So you can go for that, or you can download some apps like Duolingo or Memorize. They're really good.
Yeah.
That itself is enough for as a start.
Yeah.
After that you automatically learn after coming here. And the good thing is like the Italians are, I mean, I don't know about others, like my Italian friends are really helpful. They very like help their maximum
Mm-hmm.
actually.
Yeah.
In whatever way they can help us.
Yeah. It's a very warm
that-
culture, right? People talk to each other and they try and help each other and so on.
Yeah, they're really kind. I mean, I had never seen anyone open the door for me and say thank you and stuff in India. Here it's like it's all, they're really polite actually.
Yeah.
And if you just move, if you just, for example, if you are standing on the road, I mean, if you're standing on a pavement or something, and if they tell you to move, excuse me, they'll tell you thank you and all. I never seen anyone tell me thank you for moving
No,
in
no.
India.
Even in Germany, I think they will shout at you if you are on the bike path.
Yeah. Actually, German language I've seen it's it feels a bit more rude actually.
It is. How did the visa process work for you? I mean, how long does the whole application process take? And how long was the visa interview? How did you prepare for the visa interview and all that?
Yeah, so since my intake was before the pre-corona era, so at that time it was like we had to go to we had to attest and apostille our certificates first and do a translation on our degree certificate, and after that you have to go to the embassy, consulate in Mumbai. So since mine was in south, so Mumbai is the consulate for north is Delhi. So I had to go to Mumbai and do something called pre-enrollment. So at that time they asked like a few questions like why Italy and why this university and what is your plan after graduation. So I've seen most people have issues like some people got rejected their visa because of this question.
Mm-hmm.
Like they asked what is your plan after graduation. So if you can give a proper answer like you are coming back to India or something like that. You can tell like you're coming back to India and going to work here, or you have a company on your own, you're coming back and starting work here. So if you can give a specific answer, then there's no issue. I mean, you can't call it an interview. It's just some few questions, but those questions are important.
Yeah. But you can also say that you want to work in Italy, right? That is also a perfect answer. That I want.
Yeah, it's fine. It is also fine. It's also fine.
Yeah.
But the thing is like you have to tell a specific answer.
Yeah.
Some people just tell like blabber some stuff. So because of that, I see even my friend, me and my friend applied together on one day.
Mm-hmm.
So but one good thing is he'll know the result within 2 or 3 weeks itself.
Yeah.
But acceptance it might take more than 1 month also. For me it took like 1.5 months, but for some of my friends it took like within 3 weeks they got a visa.
Mm-hmm.
And one main problem I've seen is that you won't know whether you got accepted or rejected until you open your passport.
Oh.
They won't tell you before. You can track your passport, visa and all, but they'll never tell you whether you are accepted or rejected.
Mm-hmm. And what?
So for that you can call the VFS, I mean you can call the consulate and ask, but it depends on them. You can't say.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so for the time, like for me, it took like I think I started on June mid. Like I had to do some attestation and a style of certificates. So I did everything on my own. I didn't give it to any agency at that time. But to be honest, for now, I think I'll prefer going to some agency because it's difficult to roam around during Corona time. So uh, at that time, I did all the things from Chennai, like in the secretariat. I had to go to secretariat and do one attestation, HRD attestation. Then I had to go to Ministry of External Affairs for getting one apostille stamp. Then I gave it to one translator, and I got that in 2 days. After that, I booked an appointment to Mumbai consulate. After that, that's it. After that, you just have to apply for visa. So at that time, you have to get the documents like financial support document and your admit letter. You have to go with all these things and just apply. That's it.
Yeah. What is your
So
view? So
yeah,
this is the agency for attestation, right? What is your view on? I don't know if you hired a consultancy, education consultancy. So any tips
yeah,
to
that's what.
students? Yeah.
Yeah. So like when I was applying at that time, there was no issue like Corona or anything. So I did everything on my own, but it took time because of that. But if you give it to some agencies, especially now because this for especially for Italy, you have to do this attestation, apostille, and all those things because of this something called Hague Convention.
Mm-hmm.
So Hague Convention, you have some countries like India, Italy, UAE. So those countries. So if you're going for those countries for work or study, you have to do this apostille on your certificates, education certificates.
Yeah.
So for doing apostille, you need to do attestation first, HRD attestation. So for that, you have to first do something called HRD verification. After that, you have to go to the secretariat in the state where you studied, where your college is situated. So you have to do that. Then after that, you have to go to MEA. So that everything I did on my own at that time. But now, if you do that thing on your own, I think it will take more time because
Mm-hmm.
of this Corona. You can't. You have to book appointments and stuff, right? So if you can give it to agencies, I'll suggest that. So it depends on you. At that time also, it depends on person. If you have time to do all those things, then obviously did it on their own. But most people went through agencies so that they don't have to think about anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
They just have to give the documents and they will do it. The agencies will do everything for them.
Okay. How is
Yeah.
the? I mean, so a lot of parents sometimes call me and say, their main concern is whether my child will get enough and proper food, and and the second one is
Okay.
because of these special times, whether the kid will be able to come back when it comes to emergency flying and all that is
Okay.
restricted, right?
Yeah. So regarding food, that's a good question because when this lockdown thing happened for the first time in Italy, right? In India, it was a big news, and I used to get like 50, 60 calls every day. So what I decided, I started making different dishes like vada, payasam, all those things, and I just used to video call them and show that I'm cool, I'm fine here, I'm making these things. So the thing is, especially one good thing happened was, especially during the lockdown, what they did was they actually increased the timing of the supermarkets. So earlier it used to be like from 8:30 till around 8:30 to 8:30, something like 24 like 12 hours time. They used to be open, but during Corona time they started it was like from 7 to 10 actually, 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. They increased the time so that there won't be much queue. And the thing is like they introduced this online ticket system. So you have to book a slot first. So you can book it like one day before itself. So you can see there will be like tokens actually. So you can see your token number and which token number is like going on right now in the app itself.
Mm-hmm.
So because of that, there was no queue, not much queue for the supermarkets.
Mm-hmm.
And what they did was they always they gave a lot of offers in all the food items.
Mm-hmm.
And also it never went. I mean, it's always full stock. Every day they stock actually restock.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no issue in food at all. And you can go out during lockdown. You can go out only for food. There's nothing else.
Okay.
Food or emergencies or for pharmacies or food. That's it.
Yeah. So it's not a problem at all, I would say, right? Like with
No, food was not a
Indian
problem
food
at all.
also, Indian food also, do you buy it normal Italian stores?
Yeah, you have Indian stores here actually. I mean, they call it Indian stores. They're actually Sri Lankan stores owned by Bangladeshis, but you have Indian food there too.
Yeah.
Like you get even South Indian dishes like put, you have idli, all those powders, everything you get. Even our Ashirwad atta is there.
Okay.
So yeah, that's not even rice. Everything is there in that. You have at least one Indian store in every, let's say, 2 kilometers, 2.5 kilometers. Yeah, it's there. It's a lot.
Yeah.
But the Indian food restaurants are a bit costly here because it's an exotic food in here. So the restaurants are a bit costly, and to be honest, it's not as good quality as Indian food. I mean, the food you get in India.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah.
I can
That's it.
recall in
So food was
2008,
not an issue.
Akhif, in 2008, I was selected in Columbia University in US and also
Okay.
UCLA and some of these top universities in US for masters.
Uh-huh.
And while my mother didn't realize how important these universities were for me, I think her biggest concern was
Okay.
whether my son will get enough food. In- so I think
Yeah, actually, I became more fat after coming here because
okay, yeah,
yeah. But it's a good thing, man. I mean, I don't know whether for example, if you're for a student as a student, you'll be basically independent when you come abroad
Yeah.
because you have to do everything on your own. You have to clean your apartment. You are making food on your own. You have a timing schedule like for going to class. You come back, you work.
yeah,
So you become entirely independent. Even my parents told me like when I came from, I was in hostel from my 11th onwards. But still, after coming from there, I realized that I basically became self-sufficient.
yeah.
So it's a really good, opportunity and experience.
Yeah. What is the selection rate like if 100 students would apply from India, how many would get it?
Okay. So I had actually, even that depends on the course. So for mine is design school. So our course has 90 intakes. In that, it's 54 is for EU students, European students. So for the rest, 36 is actually international. In that, there is some percent for Chinese too. So it is very competitive, but it depends. For example, for the engineering tracks, for example, management engineering, you have around 350 seats because it's 4 batches or something. So in that, the intake is much more. I mean, acceptance is much more higher because you have more seats. So I've seen a lot of, especially in India, a lot of Indians in mechanical and management engineering. But in my course, it's we are only 3 actually, 3 or 4 people. So yeah, it depends. But for engineering tracks, you have more seats, so there is more acceptance chance. For design schools, seats are much more lesser.
Yeah. And besides engineering or management, what are the different courses you have seen Indian students going to Italy for?
Uh, Mainly for mechanical engineering, management engineering, then electrical, electronics, mainly for telecommunications and all those things. Computer science, you have a lot of people in computer science too. Then in my, especially in here, you can see for a lot of people in architecture. Because the course here, architecture course here is 4th or something in the world.
Okay.
So I've seen a lot of people coming for architecture. And for architecture, you have a lot of courses here, urban design, urban planning, architecture, a lot of different courses. So a lot of Indians are there, especially from South. I've seen a lot of people from Kerala, my state, actually in here.
Yeah. And how do they settle down in Italy after that, or they come back to India?
It's half and half. Some people settle in here, some go back to their hometown and they actually have a company there, so they go there and start working there. But for example, especially for architecture, I've seen 50% has 50% stay here and 50% go back to their home country.
Yeah.
And it depends on you actually. I mean, it's it's not a scarcity of jobs, but it depends on where you want to settle. So.
And the people who go back, is it because of they want to go back or they are not able to find something?
For some, they have some companies in their hometown, especially architecture firms. They start their own architecture firms and stuff. So they go do that, and some are some may need to settle somewhere else. Some go to Dubai. And most of my friends actually are staying here itself in Italy itself. They're working in some studios and stuff.
Okay.
So yeah,
Akif, two more
so
things,
that's
because a lot of students are worried about like part-time jobs, whether I'll be able to pay some of my expenses via that. Number one. Number two, just after graduation, typically for an engineer, what are the career opportunities in terms of monetary benefit and all that kind of stuff? I mean, whatever detail you could provide, that'll help, I guess.
okay. So part-time job, the main part-time job I've seen people doing here is food delivery, like for the Uber Eats and all those companies like apps. And because of this lockdown, now since restaurants are closed, now most people are ordering online. So now actually, to be honest, people are getting more money now during part-time job, because almost everyone wants online apply for, like go for online deliveries. So you can see a lot of increase in the number of people doing part-time jobs for food delivery right now. Even my roommate was doing like 1 month ago. Because actually now especially after, because now we have a curfew from 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. So after 10 p.m., if you are doing this part-time thing, you are getting 1.5 times the usual amount.
Mm-hmm.
So part-time, and you get a good, for example, I'm taking my roommate. So he used to go for like 3 nights in a week. So he's getting around 85 to 90 euros in a week. So you go for 1 month, you'll get like 360 to 400 euros easy.
Okay.
That's like just and he just worked 3 nights, that too just for 1.5 or 2 hours maximum.
Mm.
So I've seen people who make 600 euros. I've seen people who even make 1,000 euros.
Mm-hmm.
Actually. So depends on how much time you work. But if you can work like 3 nights and like not that hectic, then easily you can pay off your living expenses for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, not that much, but at least for the rent and food, for sure you can finish it off.
Yeah.
And regarding jobs, monetary, I mean, compared to Germany and Italy, I would say Germany you'll get more income. I mean, the salary is a bit more higher in Germany, but I think the expense is also a bit more higher in Germany.
Okay.
So yeah, so the savings wise it's almost similar, but the thing is like tax here is a bit high. Like it's like up to from 15,000 to like it's like based on your salary, right? So I think from 15,000 to 23,000 limit. So 23,000 it's like 27% tax. From 23 to 35 it is 30 to 30, 38%, 28%, 37%, yeah. So till 23,000 euros per year, it's like 28% tax.
Mm-hmm.
Then after that till 35,000, it is actually 37% tax.
Okay.
So it's like 10% increase. So and most of entry level jobs will come till 23,000. So after you get 1 or 2 years experience, you'll have more salary, but the thing is like you'll have more tax because it will cross 23,000.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So the total savings you'll have is a bit less, to be honest, because of the tax.
Okay.
But I think afterwards, like once, if you are planning to settle here, like for a long time, so you have a lot of benefits like pensions and stuff are there.
Mm-hmm.
So, and insurance is very cheap. Like insurance is also good. For students also, like if you want the full Italian insurance, it's like 130 euros for a year. But for obviously if you're working, the company will provide you. So that's not an issue. But the medical system is really good. It's all free.
Yeah.
So yeah, but that's what. So, but if you that's what. So if you are planning to like stay here for 2 years, make some money and go, then I don't think you'll be able to make that much money and go back like in other countries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how's the naturalization? Because a lot of students will think about PR and citizenship, right? Like in Germany, it took me 8 years to get the German passport. How does it work in Italy?
Okay. So here one thing is like getting the residence permit is actually fairly easier. I mean, easier than I think most countries, because here it's like yearly basis.
Mm-hmm.
And when you get visa, when you come here, you have to apply for residence permit for the first time, like in first 8 days.
Mm-hmm.
So the residence permit, the validity is based on your insurance. You have to take health insurance here. You can either give your Indian insurance or you can take one in here. It's up to you. But the maximum validity is 1 year anyway. So after 1 year, what you do is you go there and you show your current status. Like if you're still a student, you can just show your enrollment certificate and you'll get for 1 more year. Show your insurance also, you'll get for 1 more year. So, and it's not like just for 2 years, because even if our course is exclusively for 2 years, if you're still a student for 3 years or 4 years, you can still keep on extending your permit until you graduate.
Yeah.
So study permit actually it's so until you graduate you get the study permit. So the next time you go for that, then you can apply for a job searching permit, which is 1 year. And I heard like now some of my Italian friends told me because of this lockdown thing, since it was difficult for people to get the jobs, they're planning to extend this job searching permit for 1 year to 1 more year, so 2 years.
Okay.
So permit wise it's easier. So what people usually do is, for example, if you are a September intake, you will be, for example, for 2021. So 2021, if you got into September intake, so technically you're supposed to graduate in 2023 July.
Yeah.
So what people usually do is they will, instead of graduating in July, they'll graduate in December. We have like 5 calls here, like 5 calls for graduation. No, I think 6 calls for graduation. So it's up to you when you want to graduate. You just submit the thesis and you graduated. So what people do is they'll finish all the subjects and just keep the thesis left. So that once next September, like when you come here September, if you have the residence permit from September, so if you'll get the residence permit as student permit till September 2022. So when you go to a police station for verification, at that time you're still a student, because you didn't graduate, right?
Yeah.
So you can get for 1 more year.
Okay.
So if you graduate in December, you still get it for September 2023 as a student permit.
Yeah.
Then you can apply for 1 more year. So basically you are getting 1.5 years of 1.7 or 1.5 years of student permit in extra time for looking for job.
Yeah. But what I usually say is, and correct me, share your perspective on this, is that thesis you should complete earlier because you can use it for your job application, but you can leave one non-technical course for 5th or 6th semester, because that has no impact. Let's say if there is a non-technical course or some soft skills course, which you can always keep pending till the end, and then finish your thesis earlier so that you can...
No, actually, for us, for here, it is like the thesis is basically the final graduation session.
Okay.
So once you finish all the exams only, you can apply for thesis.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So for example, my graduation is supposed to be in June, right? So the last date for finishing all the exams is in March 20th. So before March 20th, you're supposed to finish all your exams. Then only the registration will start now. So for the registration, you need to otherwise you won't be eligible.
Okay, got it.
So,
got it.
Yeah.
But how does it work then if you go to a job? Because I heard, at least in Germany, I know that the thesis is important when you are interviewing. So interview will ask you questions about your master thesis and so on. How does it work in Italy?
Yeah, they usually ask about your master thesis, but it's not like they won't ask whether it's finished or not. Even if you just start and you can keep on continuing, it's up to you. So main thing here is like your profile, like what exactly you work on and you have worked on. They look into for our course, it's all about portfolio. Like you have to show your design portfolio, like what projects you have done. So that matters a lot here. Yeah. Even for engineers, like for example, for mechanical or what I would suggest is that is something which no one does, because even for they always make these portfolios kind of things, like which show portfolios like what you show the projects which you have done in a visual way, because in resume is just written stuff, right?
Yeah.
So if you can illustrate your projects in some presentation or something, it is something which normally not much people do.
Yeah.
Like other than design. So that is actually something which is new and which is something it will give you an edge actually, because I've seen a lot of my seniors or my classmates also who did management engineering and mechanical engineering. So what they did was they made one portfolio, and when they applied with that, they got a lot of offers, because now they can understand, company can understand what kind of projects have you done and what have you done till now.
Understood.
So what exact field are you in?
Yeah. So portfolio is very important, is the message.
because it's like it's a good, especially for designers. Obviously, it is important. For other, even for other branches or courses, it will give you an idea because it's not which people will do it.
Yeah.
Like that new thing which is happening now, because there's something called video resume, right? Like I've seen a lot of people do that also.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's like something like that. It's something which not much people do. So that will make you stand apart from others.
Yeah. Even some of the Italian universities I have seen are asking for 1 minute motivational video.
Yeah, exactly. Even for the scholarship, there's some scholarship called Invest Your Talent.
Mm-hmm.
For that, you need to do a self-intro video of you. So you have to show why you want to get this scholarship, what is like, why you are the best candidate for it.
Mm-hmm.
So even for that, even for jobs, they ask about it.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's very useful information. I'm just wondering if there is anything else which you would want to share. Any last words which you would want to share with uh, students who are doing bachelors now in India, and what is kind of your feeling overall, and would you have made some different decisions, or what guidance would you give?
Yeah. So like I told at first, it's all like one thing I'll tell, especially for the students who are doing bachelors right now and who want to pursue masters. So think exactly what you want to work on, like what you're passionate about, and look into the universities which you want to do. Because once you come to a university, I don't want you to regret it, because it's a really good opportunity for you, and maybe you may not get it again. So look into exactly what you want and thoroughly look it. Just don't go for the rankings and directly apply, or just apply because your friends are applying, but think about what you want to do in your life, because masters is that kind of course, right? It's not like bachelors. It's not you have like once you start masters, basically that's your career. Otherwise you can shift your career, but then there's no point of doing the masters then. So look into exactly what you want, and look into the curricula, look into the labs, the courses. If you can, one good thing is you have LinkedIn, so you can just search for the university in the LinkedIn, and you can see the people who are studying there. So you can talk to them if you want, or else you can go to Facebook. There are a lot of groups for all universities now, so you can do those things. So there will be a lot of people, and especially like these. Kapil Goals, I've seen his videos now, so he has done, seriously, like you have done a lot of good videos. I mean, it's very informative, so you can look into these kind of things, and don't just take for example, I've seen in a lot of groups they're giving a lot of misinformations. I hate that a lot. That's the reason why I have joined all these kind of groups, so that I can help people and correct these misinformation. So that's what I wanted to tell, especially the bachelor students. Think exactly what you want to do, so that your master's experience will be that fruitful. Yeah. And what else? Yeah, that's the main thing in your what you're
yeah. And I think it's very important, right? So that you need to have a clear understanding of which university, motivation letter should be linked to that. So I think you shared a lot of cool stuff and very, very important stuff, Akhif. And I really appreciate your time. And I think you have been very generous with your time. So really appreciate that.
No worries. Anyway, it's for the good. So, because the thing is, like, because I've been in that situation. Because when I came here, when I was applying, I didn't know anyone in here, and it was difficult for me to find people also at that time. So that's the reason why I started helping people. Like whenever someone messages me about these things, I just help them in whatever way I can, because I know how difficult it is to study abroad. Because no one I know he is here, and even my family was worried because no one is there in Italy who they know. Yeah. So it was really difficult. So it's very important to know what your goals are. Yeah. So if you are that passionate and if you are that goal-centered, ambitious, then obviously you will get into it. That's it.
Yeah, cool. One last question, Akhif, before we close this. Yeah. Is your family waiting for their son to come back to Kerala anytime soon?
Actually, to be honest, I'm going to get engaged soon.
Oh, congratulations.
Okay. They are waiting for me to get a job and come soon.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Cool. All the best for
So,
that. So,
okay, thank you.
yeah. Then thanks a lot, and then I'll close it now. And stay in touch. All the best for your career, and let's keep rolling.
Sure. Keep me updated anyway. If you have some, if you want to have some other call, talks with some, just call me. It's fine.
Definitely, definitely. Really appreciate it.
Okay.
Thanks a lot. Have a good
Uh,
one. Yep.
you too.
Yep. Bye.
Bye. Ciao.
Ciao, ciao.